Hello, so this is another voiceover. To start, do you see this beautiful entrance that I made and recorded for 2 hours, had to tear down and then build again, none of it recorded? And then this town square that I worked on not too long ago. Today we're tearing it all down. That's not true. I'm lying. Today we're tearing most of it down. Today we are renovating. So I decided that my island is going to have a lot of stone on it. I've always loved stony islands. My first islands have always had stone on them. I'm just that type of girl. So it didn't make sense for the entrance to be foresty and, woodsy, to have dirt as a path when the rest of it is going to be stone. I decided to keep the dirt path for the woodsy areas rather than just putting it at the entrance and then having stone everywhere else. It didn't look good. I couldn't find a way to make it look good. So we're making the entrance stone, and we're gonna make it beautiful. It's gonna be so pretty at the end. I really like it anyway. So this is me setting down the path. I guess while I'm doing this, I can talk in between, but if I start talking, I'll get distracted and I won't let you know what I'm doing. I guess you can see what I'm doing. So what I want to talk about today was more K-dramas, obviously. Talked about Squid Game and Sweet Home and Alice in Borderland a little bit. Another one I want to recommend is Uncanny Counter. I love Uncanny Counter. I'm not going to say any spoilers. I'm just going to say the main plot, I guess. So it's about a kid who develops powers after an angel goes into his body. So it starts with these 4 counters. Are they called counters? I'm not sure how to describe them. That's just the name in the show. They're called counters. And they're basically people that have come back from comas because angels have came into their body. With that, so they were in comas, the angel comes into them, they wake up, they have to become counters or else they'll be put back in comas. Obviously, they all agree to become counters. Our main character, though, isn't in a coma when he is, when the angel goes in him. The angel's name is Wiegand, that goes in him. So when Wiegand goes in him, he's not in a coma. He's very well. He's literally walking around, and he becomes a counter out of nowhere. And he was in a coma once when he was younger, but when he becomes a counter, not in a coma. So that's very strange. And then our main character is also he's disabled. So he walks with a cane. He lost the feeling in his leg when he was younger, and he got into a car crash. And he now has to walk with a cane. So when he becomes a counter, he can walk again. This isn't a spoiler. It happens in episode 2. When he becomes a counter, he can walk again. And that part is the most heartwarming part in the entire show. The whole show is kind of heartwarming. Fauna's asking me for a greeting. I gave her Heya. So I was like, Heya, because I see normals as kind of nerdy and sweet. So I just feel like that suited her, like how Coco says greetings to me now. I made her say it, but yeah. Anyway, where was I at? Oh, so the whole show is kind of heartwarming and sad. It's the perfect balance of that for me personally. I was so emotional watching it. I was excited, I was sad, I was happy, I was angry. And I love when shows do that to me. I was so invested in all these characters. And they were all good people. Obviously they all had their flaws, but they were all just great. I loved it. I highly recommend Uncanny Counter, especially if you like Squid Game. Not because it's the same in any capacity, but if you watch K-dramas and you like Squid Game, I recommend Uncanny Counter. Only because if you watch K-dramas, you're used to a certain type of drama where it's oh man, woman, fall in love, shit like that. Uncanny Counter isn't one of those. The very first K-drama that I fell in love with that wasn't a love story was School 2013. That's why I love Lee Jong-suk now. But School 2013 was my favorite drama for so long because it didn't have any romance in it. And in 2015, there was a lot of romance. I mean, there's a lot of romance dramas now, but there was a lot of romance dramas. I prefer romance dramas now rather than in the past because in the past it was all rich man, poor woman. Now it's like they're both working and he has a crush on her, but she doesn't like him and he has to convince her to like him. Shit like that. I think it's cuter. I thought this was cute. I only spoke to them because they were both skipping around. This is me kicking up the dirt path to put all the stone down. And then as you can see, I didn't tear down the cliff completely on the right because I knew I was going to build it back up again. So this isn't a tear down, build back up. This is kind of a renovation. I tear down most of this cliff, some of the other cliff, the cliff behind, most of it stays. Aside from the part that I cut out for the path for the town square, the rest of it stays. So here, I really wanted to put this signpost here because at the time I planned to keep the diagonal pathways just plus the pathway directly to the right. So I wanted the sign there because I feel like it made sense because at this point you would have a lot of directions to go. And I wanted to put bushes around it, but the way I wanted the bushes to be closer than what they were. So I dug the holes to see where I could place things, and it was kind of far. I'd rather it be closer. I just thought it would look kind of silly. I didn't even try to put the bushes down, but I just thought it would look silly, so I didn't bother and I moved it. But I prefer what I did rather than the destination signpost, if I'm gonna be honest. You can see I keep trying to find the middle. Every time I run near the airport, that's me trying to find the center. And I say in a different video that I don't care about symmetry, which I don't, but for someone who doesn't care about symmetry, I made this very symmetrical. Here's an idea I had that failed. It's not that I didn't know, I forgot that the Animal Crossing paths don't touch. So that like thin line of grass looked so silly to me. And I erased it and I decided to go with my bushes idea that I had originally. Is Strangers from Hell good? It's been in my list forever. I have to watch it. I keep seeing TikToks about it, but I'm not sure what it's about yet. Pretty sure there's a murderer. I'm not confident. I have to finish it. Let's talk about K-dramas I don't like. Let's be negative for a bit. It's Okay Not to Be Okay. I do not like. I find Yeji's character really annoying. I don't like the fact that she keeps using his autistic brother to get close to him. Knowing how much he cares about his brother. And like, yes, his brother is an adult, but there was a book signing scene where we seen how, yes, he's an adult, but he is going to have a hard time taking care of himself. It's like, I like the fact that she doesn't treat him like a child, but at the same time, he needs some sort of caretaker. Like, he has to be paid attention to, and his brother's the only one that's going to do that, and she keeps using the older brother to get close to him, and it's really sad and annoying, actually. So I can't stand her in that show. I don't find it romantic. I don't find it cute. Extracurricular is another one I hate too, but not for the same. Extracurricular is actually so good. It's so good, but I am someone who loves a happy ending. I'm not gonna spoil it, but it pissed me off. That's all I'm gonna say about Extracurricular. I recommend you watch it, but the beginning, amazing. He had such a good thing going. It was great. In the beginning, it was amazing, and then the biggest spoiler I can give you is that I didn't like the ending. And then I guess from that you can take what you will, make your own assumptions. It's kind of weird doing voiceovers because it's so fast, and I want to talk in between it, but I don't know if I'm gonna have to explain my thought process, especially when it's like 300 speed. And I cut so much of it out because this was 2 hours of footage, And most of it was me running back and forth, making sure it's symmetrical, seeing if I wanted a bridge somewhere, like going in and out of my house. And then I cut it down. I cut 2 hours down to 30 minutes. Her Private Life is a really good K-drama that's on Netflix. I'm only talking about Netflix K-dramas because I just assume that everyone has Netflix. I have Cocoa and Vicky. I pay for both of them. That's why I watch most of my K-dramas, but like everything is on Netflix now. So Her Private Life I seen on Vicky first, but it's now on Netflix. It's really cute. It's a romance drama, so it's not in the same vein as where it's like an action drama like the other ones. But it's sweet. It's really cute. I love the fact. So Her Private Life is about an adult. She's like an art curator who is also an idol stan, and she runs a fan site. And a fan site is, if you don't know, it's basically a person who runs like a site where they take photos of their idol, like candid photos. So like at an airport, mostly at airports, on stage, at fan signings, things like that. And they edit them and they post them online, and they put like their little watermark there, so that's how you know it's from that fan site. So she's an adult that also does that, so she has to juggle her fan site and her real job. So she'll like leave work and go directly to the airport where her idol is gonna be. It's so funny to me. I think it's because I'm also an adult that likes idols, but to be fair, she's like in her 30s. You know what I mean? Like most idols nowadays are my age. But even then, as someone with a full-time job, I can't imagine leaving my job like, oh, I gotta go to this fan signing to take pictures of Felix. Like, what? But no, it's literally great. I recommend you watch it. It also has my favorite actresses in it. My favorite actress in it. Actresses. My favorite actress in it. And my favorite actor. I was in love with him since Coffee Prince. I forget his name right now because there's so many names in my head. But it's a good watch if you want a romance. My only problem is, once again, not a spoiler, but the main female lead and the main lead are boss and employee. I hate that. I really wish it wasn't that way. It's not as bad as Secretary Kim. Secretary Kim bothered me for that reason too, and I couldn't finish it because it's a boss-secretary relationship. You're not gonna make this sexy. You're not gonna make this like cute to me. Maybe it's just me. One, work relationships like a whole thing. Two, like, does this not feel like she's being taken advantage of? Maybe it's just me, that since I am an adult with a job. Like, I don't know. Like, imagine like talking to your boss romantically. Is that not weird? We can't work together. Goodbye. I have to leave or you have to leave. Like, give me a different position. I know you have the power to. Get me off your team. Like, you can't be my boss. But other than that, if you don't have an issue with that, like I have an issue with that, Her Private Life is 10 out of 10. I did have an issue with that, and it was still 10 out of 10. Let's talk about this situation that I have with this cliff and this waterfall. So I didn't realize that it wasn't... So you can see, if you have eyes, that the side on the left only has one cliff seat and the side on the right has two. Now, I was supposed to move the water, but instead I was like, if I were to elongate the cliff... Now, me making the cliff one longer made the whole thing very symmetrical. I just didn't need to do that to get the waterfall to work. I did it to get the waterfall to work, but I literally didn't have to. Oh, if you're watching this video, can you do me a favor? Can you follow me on Twitter? I'll follow you back only because I don't I made my Animal Crossing Twitter in October 2020 and barely used it. And I don't know who to follow. I want people, but the timeline is so dead. I follow 12 people. I literally follow 12 people and I have no idea who to follow. I tweet all the time about not having anyone to follow. But obviously I don't have any followers, so no one cares. No one can interact with it. I don't know how to get followers on Twitter. It's so difficult. So anyone who follows me, I'll follow back because my timeline is very dead. So here, you see I tried to put a bush on the right, it didn't work, so I tried to put it on the left. Shocker, it didn't work again. So I had to put a bush here. I really wish I could put trees up here, because when I look, I like to have the angle down when I look at the entrance, and it would just look so much better with trees. But if I were to make the cliff go back any more than it does, it would interrupt the path. And it already interrupts the path, honestly. Because when I try to put the sidewalk down, I make the whole path 4 wide instead of 2, and it just disrupts the whole flow. I just pretend like it doesn't though. Because if I cared that much, I probably would have bought the entrance in a little more, but did not want to do that. Then I pushed all these gel bars in, could have put them in my pocket and put them back down, but I pushed them all in, so that took a while. That's why there's so many cuts and why this is sped up by 300. Or 3 times speed. So Samara's wall doesn't go anywhere, but I do have to move it because I'm going to have a path going down here. So I destroy all the cliffs that are surrounding the town square so I can have a path from the left, a path coming from the right, and a path coming up to get to the town square, because I thought it was weird to have one diagonal path, one diagonal dirt path, and then have it go up, and then from there just have a stone path leaving the resident services. Also didn't like the fact that the only way to get into the town square was basically through the resident services. So that's why we're renovating now. Also, it is like prime time degenerate streaming hours. I don't stream, but I think Tim the Tatman calls them degenerate streaming hours. Is that Tim the Tatman? Is that Daft39? Those are very 2 different streamers. But regardless, prime time degenerate streaming hours. I don't stream, but prime time degenerate recording hours. I tried to record this earlier, but I either had nothing to say or I was saying way too much. It was weird. So now that it's prime time degenerate hours, I feel like I can talk just the right amount. Also, I don't know if you noticed, I don't know if you made it this far in the video, I haven't sworn that much. I'm trying to swear less. I've been watching Corey Kenshin, and not that I didn't watch Corey before and I'm just not watching Corey, but I've been like binge watching Corey Kenshin, and I just think it's really cute how he doesn't swear to be funny. To be fair, he adds in like a lot of edits to cover up the swearing, and I'm just simply not gonna do that. And I'm also not gonna censor anything. If I say shit, I say shit, but it is what it is, you know what I mean? I'm just gonna cuss less naturally. This situation. So I wanted a sidewalk, right? I got a sidewalk, but I didn't like how it looked with the stone. So shout out to Colin. I was watching a island tour of his island, and he used that pathing. But when he used that sidewalk pathing, it was only with his pathing. It wasn't any Animal Crossing pathing, so it looked good, right? When I tried to use his sidewalk for the Animal Crossing with the Animal Crossing pathing, it didn't look good. So I didn't use it, but shout out to him. You see his creator code in the bottom. I'm sure if you look up his creator code, or just look up Colin Animal Crossing on YouTube, you can find his island. His island is gorgeous. It is so much I could never do. Or not that I could just simply never do it, so much that I couldn't imagine putting that much effort into. It is so great, honestly. And he has a perspective spot on his island that no matter how long I look at it, I can't figure out how he did it. I also want a perspective spot on my island too. I want like a woods perspective. It looks like you're looking over the woods from a mountain. And I would love to have the campsite up there. I want to have the campsite up there and then a separate spot next to it where you can look over. But that's going to take up the whole back of my island basically. Gonna be that and a lake basically. I don't know how people do perspective islands without and still have space, you know what I mean? I might do another spot too with the lake. Oh, this is the only reason I ever had white roses, was to do this interchanging pattern of black, white roses. And that's the only spot I have that too. Oh, also with my entrance, see that there? I don't know if I should put rolled roses, gold roses, wow, or just keep them black. I'm thinking about gold roses because I have a lot and I have nowhere to put them. And I remember, I almost said back in the day, but like last year, people would like show off their gold roses. I haven't seen gold roses on anyone else's island in forever. But I want to keep my gold roses. I'm not throwing them away. I think I worked hard for those. And I say I think because I don't remember if I got to a 5-star island first or if someone gave me a gold watering can on AC fan. I don't remember. Regardless. So this is me just extending the path so I can put a sidewalk on it. Then I do get a sidewalk. I don't show any of that because it's unnecessary, but I will show you the sidewalk that I use at the end, as well as the creator of the sidewalk. Do you see how it's not really even on both sides because the cliff is in the way? And I just refuse to get rid of the cliff. I put that there by accident, and then I decided that I liked it, so I put it on both sides. A utility pole was supposed to go where that tree went. What do you think is coming in Nintendo Direct? Or an Animal Crossing Direct, I should say. Other than Brewster, people are very excited. I don't know, some people think that we'll also get a spot for Celeste. Not sure why they think that. Some people think that we're getting the villagers, the like crossover villagers back, which I think would be really cool if we got crossover villagers back. I would hope that the crossover villagers wouldn't be villagers that had amiibos. They definitely would be because, you know, Nintendo likes money. Everyone likes money, but like Nintendo really likes money. But wouldn't it be so cool if you could only find them through other islands? Well, if that was the case, people would be charging them up like hell on Nikazan. Imagine like, oh, I want the Mario villager. I don't know what theme that would be. I mean, like, I don't know what they would look like, but you're just like, oh, I want the Mario themed villager. And you go on Nikazan and they're selling it for like 20 million bells. Because you can't get the amiibo. Remember when people used to have like Rayman look parties or whatever? That was hilarious before he had an amiibo. It was terrible. I don't think they'll ever do that again. It was funny though. And what's funnier is that I wasn't on Animal Crossing when that was a thing. people loved Raymond still, but they really cooled down on, you know, the excitement. I wonder what Fauna was thinking there. I never asked her. Oh, here's me struggling to make a river diagonal. So I wanted the river to kind of wind a bit. I wanted it to go out and then back in, just kind of like a C shape, because I wanted more space for the pathway near the, not near the, I wanted more space for the sidewalk that I gave for the town square. I wanted it to be a little longer. So I wanted but I still wanted the bridge to cross over. So I made the lake go out a little bit and then go back in, because I didn't want the lake to be too far away from the town square, because I still wanted a waterfall behind the town square. And yes, I can add a waterfall without a lake, but I wanted the lake to have a waterfall. The struggle is absolutely real. Like, look at how often I'm just walking around, not doing anything, trying to figure this out. Because why isn't it straight? Like, the diagonal not being straight really, really did it for me. It was so upsetting. Was the easiest part. This is why I find islands with a lot of waterscaping very cool. It's very admirable, because I hate waterscaping. It's a struggle every single time. It's never been easy. So eventually this is all just waterscaping, and I stop recording and then I forget to record again. So hello, this is the final product. Since I forgot to hit record and continue what I did, this is the end result of the entrance. Oh, you see the sidewalk? This is a sidewalk that I chose. I really loved it. I looked up Animal Crossing sidewalk on Pinterest, and this is what I found. A little chair there. There's their creator code, and I think their Twitter. I'm not sure what the actual sidewalk is called because it's in Japanese and I can't read kanji. I put that there for spooky season, even though in my game it's still July. It's almost August in my game. I'm time traveling like an MFer right now. Just trying to get back to October. But I'm also trying to get Beato's photo. Get him off my island as soon as possible. Julian wanted me to find his bag, and I said I would look. He did not get his bag that day. I lied to his face. So here's the end result of this. I think it's very pretty. I love it. I love it a lot more than I did before. Honestly, so there's that. And then when fall comes, the creator of the sidewalk had leaves as well. So I'm going to be putting leaves on the ground everywhere. It's going to be so nice. So the lake, I wanted that to do that. So it could be a waterfall from there, and I can make that really pretty and terraformy. I want to put a picnic there. I don't know what I want to do here, where I'm running in a circle. No idea what I would do there. And now I'm just showing examples of like you would go here and here. This is what I was saying in real life probably. Don't know what I'm going to do to the left of resident services. I guess we'll figure that out after I do the terraforming behind it. And I'm really hyping up this terraforming. Please be in mind, it's probably going to be underwhelming. I'm just excited to do it because I just plan to do the whole back of resident services terraforming. So, but please be in mind, it will most likely be underwhelming. You know what? I think I have space to put a graveyard next to resident services. Should I put it next to it? I won't put it right next to it. I'll put it like a bit left and behind. Back to my entrance, which I just love. I love that I redid this. I think it's very pretty. I think it's way prettier than it was before. I've taken so many pictures of my entrance because I think it's so nice. Alright, and we have reached the end of the video. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Goodbye! Also, if you could subscribe, that'd be great. Goodbye.